Welcome back. Today we are looking at disability and in particular how young adults are being included and accepted by the rest of the community.
Yes, we're joined now by Dr. Iman Gad, who is the Director of Disability Services at the Community Development Authority, which is a government entity, and she's also a trainer at Indimaj. We've also got Dr. Aisha Saeed Husseini, the Director of Menzel. It's a school for people with special needs. And we've also got Khushbu Satta, who was educated at Menzel, and now she works for HSBC Bank, which is somewhere I used to work as well, by the way, once upon a time.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Hi.
So, Dr. Gad, we'll start with you. What exactly does, your entity within the CDA do exactly?
Well, we help people with disabilities to be included and fulfill their potentials in society, basically. We take them all the way from early intervention, actually before birth, during birth, once they are here, and all the way. And we found that the immediate needs is the area of early intervention and the area of employment, so under 6 and plus 18. Okay. Because otherwise they will be looked after by Ministry of Education and, Ministry of Social Affairs. So what we try to do is to fill the gap in the community. Really.
Right. Are there many centers over here in the UAE?
There are plenty of private centers, semi-government centers, centers under Ministry of Social Affairs, independent centers, medical centers, you name it. But
are there enough centers, though?
We don't want centers, quite frankly. What we're trying to do is we try to break away eventually from centers and get them included, and that's why there are programs to include them early in education, within all the way of stages of education, and hopefully once they hit 18 that they can find an exit point where they can go to colleges and universities and fulfill their dreams like anybody else, and then hopefully become a young adult who's productive in society.
Okay, Khushbu. Now you went to Menzel school, right?
Yes.
And then you graduated from Menzel, and now you're working for HSBC. What do you do in HSBC, by the way?
I'm working at the operation department, and there's many kinds of work like I do, talking to the customers, attending to the customers, taking the checks, and about the auto loans, auto loans department I'm working as. It's good, everything is good, and my manager is also very helpful to me, Mohammed Zakir.
So, Khushbu, I understand that you went to several mainstream schools, and you also went to Menzel, which was, I guess, your last school before moving on to, your new job, your first job, right?
Yes.
So, how was that as an experience? What was your journey like?
Yeah, we went in many offices, and District Dubai Hotel also. We learned about the hotels in the offices. Like there was work of teaching us in the computer and Microsoft Word and everything, Microsoft Excel and everything, and we mugged up everything, and it was like very good, and they asked us like we have 3 options where you would like to work, like you would like to work in the bank or in the office or in the hotel.
So you were asked, actually, you got the opportunity to, luckily, just like everybody else, to choose a job that you actually like.
Is banking what you wanted to do, actually?
I would like to work in a bank only. I decided to pick that job.
So, Dr. Aisha, what does Menzel do for them practically?
We have a program, a 2-year program called Pride. It's people receiving independence and dignity through employment. And the Pride program in year 1, we basically teach them ADL skills, their self-help and living independently. And people like Khushbu, they've been through the program. Here we look at various things. We look at the abilities of our students. We also look at what the market requires. So we do the research on that and find out what are the requirements there.
Very important.
And then, so we try to match the abilities with the requirements. But the most important is we also take into consideration the interest of the student. So we match all these 3 and then take them through a very, very specific program where they are being trained for those skills. Then they go through placement. Towards the end of year 2, they are being placed across 6 to 8 weeks. They will be placed at various organizations to see whether they really would fit into that, into that
To me,
workplace.
that sounds like every other school and university.
It sounds like,
because that's what you need. You need to know, you have very good ideas, I want to work in a bank, but what does it mean to work in a bank?
Of course.
So when you're placed there for 2 weeks, you're working in a bank, and you see that, you say, okay, I really like it, or this is not where I really wanted to be. So we can, and then you have the ability to come back, and then we also get a lot of feedback from the employers at that point. So they give us feedback about the student, and then we can go back and sharpen some skills, or, you know, touch up on whatever is required.
So you're always in touch with the employers as well.
Well, that's the key, really, because if we don't do that, then we're going to just be putting someone into the middle of the sea and then saying, okay, swim or sink.
Yeah,
you know?
which
You
is
can't
not
do
fair,
that. Yeah.
What is your message to young people in the UAE, or, you know, to this part of the world?
Well, I would say it message for two parts, basically. People with disability and people who are typically developed. People who are typically developed, I would just go out there, be friended with people with disabilities, ensure that you are doing your part for society. As I say, let them in, enjoy their company, and they will just be a bundle of joy for you, and they will just give you whatever you want out of a friendship. When it comes to people with disability, I said never give up, go out there, train yourself, because in a competitive society what you need is education and training, and you need the practice. So by actually bridging, there is a role for people with disability themselves to believe in themselves, and this self-esteem we really must work on it to ensure that they can do it, because the problem is for so many years they've been told that they cannot. And at the moment we know that yes they can, and it's like a two-part sort of trip really. Right. Once both people decided to do it, I think inclusion will happen.
And Khushbu, would you like to say anything to our 20-something viewers who are watching at home?
I would like to say that like me, other children who are special, they must get the job like this, and they must be financially independent, and they must work, they must not depend on their parents, and they must be fully independent and do their own work.
Well done. Well said, girl. I wouldn't have said it better myself. Well, thank you all for joining us today. I hope 20-something has played a part as well in propagating the call for people to, you know, that people with disabilities do belong into society. And we thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having us.